Welcome to Call to Arms Gates of Hell. In this series, we will take a look at different campaigns and mini-series with various settings and times as we partake in different battles with characters and stories helped created by you. I would like for you to let me know what kind of characters you come up with, including their names and even surnames if so desired. If you are not that creative, you can just give me a name and I will make a background story and lore for that character and bring them to life on the battlefield. But you can also, of course, make your own background story for your character, and I will implement that in the series as well. Just be aware that this game can be very brutal, and your character might end up with a very unceremonious and sudden death. But that is of course what makes it exciting and thrilling. So I hope to see a varied cast of characters created by you. For this particular miniseries, it will be a World War II campaign shown from the Soviet perspective, so please create your characters with that in mind. Later on, we will do other settings and modern times as well, so that you will have a bit of an easier time to create characters for me to play with. Once again, if you are not that good at creating stories or background lore, giving me just the name of a character is fine, and I will make a story and history for it. Alright, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Call to Arms Gates of Hell. Today's episode is going to be very exciting, because today, for the first time, I'm going to be playing as characters that were created by you. Several of you have sent me various character names, background stories, background lore, and I've implemented them in this episode and will do so in the upcoming episodes as well. It should be noted though that of course I can only do a limited amount of characters per episode and per battle, so I was not able to implement all of the characters that were sent in. But of course we have more episodes coming up, so if you don't see your character in the current episode, please come back next time to where you maybe will see your character represented there. I will of course look back at comments and send in requests on earlier videos as well, so please don't fret if you don't see your character right now. Also feel free to resend your story or character in the current video. And again, the more characters and more stories are encouraged to let your creativity loose. Lastly, also, I did get a few sent in requests on characters from the German side, but I would like to reiterate that this particular miniseries is from the Soviet side. Starting next week, I will start a more modern warfare type campaign where it's modern days. So basically, any country can be represented in the campaign and story. So please look forward to that if that is more your cup of tea. All right, without further ado, let's start the episode. The Soviets had taken over a small town that was occupied by the Germans. It came at a great cost, but the task at hand was not finished yet. The nearby stationed German forces were about to launch a counterattack, and intel suggested that they had armor take part in this assault as well. Luckily, the armor seemed to be rather light, though plentiful, and the Soviets had enough time to barricade themselves in and add some AT weapons of their own. Now it was all about waiting for the enemy to arrive, and one of the soldiers who waited with his comrades was Sergey Valdez. Though the Soviets by now had been reinforced with fresh troops, Valdez still had partaken in the initial fight to take over the town. His body was tired, but his mind sharp due to the adrenaline. He had killed during this initial battle, and blood was on his hands. Knowing that more blood would need to be spilled made his hands tremble. He'd rather have that the battle just started than this agonizing waiting. Alright, here we are, guys. Awaiting the German counterattack. We have divided our troops on opposite sides of the streets. We've taken over their mortars. We have some AT defenses of our own. Here they come. Might get a little bit laggy during the actual confrontation, but it should be alright. There we go. Mortars doing their work. We got some Germans feeling very brave. Their recklessness gets punished heavily. Oh my goodness, we just lost one of our AT crew. That's not good. The armor that they're sending is not that heavy. But if we lose our other AT gun, we don't have a lot that we can do with that. Oh, look at that. We have some Germans retreating. Oh! Valdis was shot. It took one clean hit to take him out, and though it was difficult to see who or what exactly killed him within this chaos, it was believed to be a German sniper. Though Valdis' fighting career was brief, it was brutal and bloody all the way to the end. Amongst the Soviets was also the young soldier Sergey Kalashnik. Sergey had witnessed the horrors of war by the Germans during the spring of 1943. In a battle that was won by the Soviets, Sergey was so shell-shocked and scared that he fled in the end. To his luck, he came across a group of Soviet soldiers who at that time escorted a penalized battalion of other soldiers who disobeyed orders, deserted, or whatever else that got them in that position. If it were any other commissar, Sergey would have been shot. But instead, he was sent back to the front, much to his dismay. Part of his detachment was sent to reinforce the town once it had been taken. Sergey and his other comrades would not speak of their desertion or disobeying orders to avoid conflict with their own countrymen. But the howling of the mortars and armor had Sergey and others hide in a nearby house. Alright, here we are. We got some Soviets hiding in the houses. Not the bravest of the bunch. Here, of course, is the other AT gun. Doing God's work. Oh my goodness. We need to get out of here. This clustered up group is way too big a target. So in the last update, I guess they added this thing where you can now see the silhouettes of the characters. I personally actually really dislike that. It makes it feel very arcadey. And yeah, I dislike the look of that very much. I don't know if you can turn that off. I looked quickly in the game options. Couldn't find an option to do so, but I hope there is. We took some heavy casualties here. That thing is moving forward. This stupid running animation happens when you reload and run at the same time. Oh, we got some flanking Germans. I saw before that a few Germans were retreating, but not all of them. This weapon is not great for long distance. Okay, we stopped that armor. Ooh, beautiful explosion. There's still something that's operational there. Is our rear AT crew still operational? They certainly are. Okay. Oh, there are multiple armor units that are still operational. Eventually, obviously, if we are able to hold their counterattack, we will push back. We're currently in no state to do that yet, though. Okay. First of the Soviets are trying to push back. Oh, beautiful mortar hit there. I think this character actually received some courage seeing them all flee. Shouldn't, of course, be too close to the friendly mortar fire here. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Is he in the house? No, there's an MP40 here, though. I hear... Oh! Sergey died on that battlefield, just at a point where he seemed to get his courage back. With the sight of fleeing Germans in a battle that up until now seemed to go fairly smoothly for the Soviets. It almost seemed like a redemption for himself. But that newfound courage made him a bit too overconfident, earning him an early grave. Denis Balakin had been the veteran sniper who partook in the taking of the village, and he was never a man to turn down a battle or another chance to snipe at the enemy. He was stationed at the right side, which was faring a lot less fruitful than the left flank. Nevertheless, he would have his steady aim guarantee many an enemy to a quick death. Alright, though things are going quite well on the left flank, here on the right flank we have a bit more of a problem. Also, of course, now playing as a character from the previous episode. So if a character survives, they will be featured in upcoming episodes. There we go. Oh. There we go, beautiful shot. What the Germans are maybe trying to do is, with the Soviets going forward on the left flank, they're trying now to create a sort of like wedge-shaped counterattack by focusing power on the other side. Jesus. Oh, looks like one soldier. Nope, I thought for a moment they repaired it or something, but they're dead. That armor is moving awfully close. Oh, there's a lot of them. Come on, wait for the circle. Boom. Insta-kill. Wait for the circle. Got one bullet left before you need to reload. Man, that armor is still operational. Moonwalking in place. They're messing up the village very much so. Did we just lose one of our mortars? Okay, they're still operational. Oh, wow, what a beautiful shot from that far. Looks like they're pushing on the left side. Those must be the tanks that shot at me earlier when I went out there. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of soldiers huddled up here. This is not great. It's not really a... Those tank units are not that much of an important target. Their weapons pretty much suck. They're not a real threat from that distance. Oh! Crap, I need to heal. Again, I have to do this in the strategic view. A lot of Germans still out there, but not as many. The main issue is that this guy is in a position where our other AT gun cannot hit him. Unless, I don't know how this thing is This thing is messed up, isn't it? There's no way you can use this again. I was about to say, like, we can maybe commandeer it with this unit, but that'll be impossible. Okay, we're starting another push. I feel that they're a little bit overconfident. Look, we actually do have some AT units amongst our infantry. Oh god. Shit. No. He cannot heal anymore, so he will retreat to be aided by medics. Balakin had been wounded and could not aim his gun properly anymore. He would retreat to the rear and receive medical aid and live to fight another day. The soldier Istvan Solovich was a Jewish Russian who joined the army to take revenge for the death of his Jewish Polish relatives. During his training and in the field, he showcased a lot of hatred for the enemy, worrying some officers and higher-ups that it would make him suicidal. When he heard that the Soviets were planning another countercharge, he was surely to be found at the front. Now we're getting a little bit reckless here, but you can see that the Soviets are gathering up for the countercharge. This guy doesn't give a damn. He's just standing there, taking shots at the Germans. Not hitting a whole lot. Oh, that mortar did the work for him. But still. Now, their left flank already is a little bit weaker. That's the stupid thing about this weapon, is that you're not actually hitting necessarily. But you can actually see how big the crosshair is. It's one of the most inaccurate weapons in the game. Alright, looks like we're doing another push. This time more around the center. We got a few units pushing right as well. I'm going to push right this time. There's more cover once we cross the river. But that river crossing in and of itself is going to be an issue. Reload. Oh my goodness. The Germans certainly still have some bite in them left. Take some nasty hits here. I'm gonna heal up in the open. He doesn't give a damn. He's quite suicidal. All he wants to do is get close, kill the enemy. Here we go. We're making the push finally. Now you can see that the Germans are actually fleeing. It's actually something that I find very cool about the Men of War games, and also Call to Arms here, is the fact that... Oh, look at that. You got a kill in there. That units can actually become scared and flee. And it's pretty well done in that it's not necessarily if the enemy just has more units, but let's say you have a lot of like infantry, but then 1 or 2 tanks and they have nothing to deal with, they will run away. Come on. Oh, Jesus! Can I heal again? Nope. I could try and find some healing items somewhere. Probably gotta hide. Solovich was forced to hide in the shut-up barn as he desperately searched for something to bandage his wounds with. He would have to hold out until the advancing Soviet soldiers could relieve him. One of those soldiers was Oleg Sokolov, a Soviet conscript who was part of the reserves to reinforce the village once it had been taken over. Though he wasn't a veteran, he also wasn't green as grass, and had killed before. Okay. Looks like we are now fully pushing. A lot of the Soviets are showing some bravery here. There we go. There's our previously played character. We actually saved him. Yep. Let's cover him while he makes his retreat. So that's the thing here. So that's actually the rule I came up with, is that if you're shot or wounded once, you can heal because all the soldiers actually have one healing item in their inventory. Oh god, the thing is still... It's not able to drive, but... Wait a minute. We have like AT units here. Shoot at them dudes. But yeah, if you're wounded again, that means I will change character, but your character will not die. So it's just wounded. I could, I guess, also put more than one medkit in their inventory. But this way, I will switch between multiple characters during one episode, which is... Oh my god, that was friendly fire. Wow. Oh, well, no. Looks like they're fine. Look at that. No actual friendly fire. Probably some limbs lost or something, but, huh. Alright, all the units are going back to the village. So that was it, people. We are victorious, but we did lose quite a few people, but definitely not as many as the Germans did. This was a, where in the last episode, we had to pay a heavy price to get that village. This time, there's a lot less for us to worry about. I just want to check one final thing. See what the damage is back in the village. Look how many are still alive. I just want to see if the rear AT gun is still operational. What about the mortar teams? Both mortar teams are still good. They've done also God's work. They've done really a lot of damage to the Germans. As you can see, not very many casualties back here. And yep, these guys also still operational. What a sight, people. What a sight. And thus, the German counterattack was stopped that day, and the town could be turned into a supply station, and tanks could drive through to advance towards the next objective. For what lay next, the Soviets would need to take over a larger village, but this time, they had their glorious tanks leading the way.